My God, how does one pray when one feels nothing? I kneel, or at least my mind kneels, because my body just moves out of old habit. And I open my mouth, not to cry out, but to let the silence of my soul escape. I come to you today not with a bleeding wound, nor with a screaming pain, nor with a tormenting doubt. I come to you in the most terrible of all states, nothingness, the void, the great hollow that has settled in my chest, in the place where I think a heart used to be. It doesn't hurt, Lord, and that is the most frightening part. I would prefer the pain. I would give anything to feel the sharp sting of sadness or the fire of anger. At least in pain, I knew I was alive. At least in anguish my soul writhed, proving its own existence. Now there is nothing, just an empty space, a graveyard calm, a peace that is synonymous with inner death. I wake up in the morning and the sun comes through the window, but it doesn't warm me. It's just light, a physical fact, illuminating the dust that dances in the air, as aimless as I am. I eat, and the food goes down my throat, but it has no taste. It is just fuel to keep this machine, this body, running for another day. I listen to music, and the notes reach my ears, but they don't touch me, don't lift me, don't sadden me. They are just vibrations in the air, organized noise. People talk to me, they smile, they cry, they care, and I watch them as if I'm watching a movie in a language I don't understand. I nod at the right times. I forge an expression of empathy. I say the expected words. But inside, nothing moves. I am a spectator of my own life, a ghost in my own house. Everything has lost its meaning, my God. Not in a philosophical, intellectual way, but in a visceral, fundamental way. The connection between things and their meaning has been severed. Work is just motion. Rest is just stillness. Love is just a word. And faith. Faith is a memory of something I once felt. I remember believing. I remember feeling your presence. I remember having conversations with you that felt real, that warmed this space that is now ice cold. Where did that get lost, Lord? Was there a moment, a day, an hour, when the color drained from my world and everything turned to shades of gray? I don't know. The process was so subtle, so silent, that by the time I noticed, I was already here, in this desert. A desert without hot sand and a scorching sun, a cold, gray desert made of fog and indifference. And my prayer, if one can call it that, is an echo in this desert. I don't even know why I'm talking to you. The words leave my mind, but they seem hollow, weightless, without conviction. They dissolve in the fog before they even get anywhere. It's an act of mechanical desperation, like a castaway throwing a bottle into the sea with no hope of it ever being found. What does one do when nothing makes sense? How does one find north when the soul's compass is broken? How does one take the first step when one doesn't know where to go, and doesn't even have the will to go anywhere? I feel like an abandoned house. The structure is still standing, the walls, the roof, but inside, it's all empty. The furniture has been removed, the lights have been cut off, the windows are dirty, and the wind whistles through the cracks, a sound of desolation. That's how I feel inside. Empty, cold. Echoes of a life that no longer belongs to me. And I'm afraid, Lord, a cold, nameless fear. The fear that this emptiness isn't a phase, but the final destination. The fear that this is my permanent state. The fear that my soul has died and only my body has forgotten to fall. I don't ask you to make me happy. Happiness seems like a star in another galaxy, an absurd and distant idea. I don't ask you to give me answers. My mind doesn't have the energy to process them. I don't ask you to fill my void. I don't even know what it could be filled with. My request today is more primitive, more fundamental. I ask you for a sign, a single sign that there is still something beyond this nothingness. A single color in a gray world. A single taste in a banquet of ashes. A single musical note that can pierce my inner deafness. I need to know that feeling is still possible. I need to remember what it is to be alive. I offer you this void. My God, it is the only offering I have. I place this nothingness in your hands. Can you, who created the universe from nothing, create something new inside of me? Can you, who breathed the breath of life into clay, breathe new breath into this dust statue I have become? I don't know. Hope, too, is a distant memory. But I am here. In my apathy, in my indifference, in my soul exhaustion, I am here. Talking to you. It's the only act of stubbornness I have left. The stubbornness to address someone, even while feeling there's no one listening. Please, my God, let this void not be a tomb. Let it be a soil, a barren, frozen soil. Yes, but a soil, where perhaps, one day, by your impossible grace, something, anything, can begin to sprout. This is my prayer. The prayer of the vacuum, the whisper of the hollow. Please, listen to my silence. And I remain here, in this gray desert of my soul, waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Maybe for the fog to lift, or for the ground to open up. Anything would be better than this. Stillness, this cotton-like silence that muffles all the sounds of the world. Your presence, which I called for, seems as silent as my own void. And I wonder if your silence is an answer, a mirror of my own nothingness, or if it is just silence, absence, and that doubt is the only thing that resembles a feeling inside me. It's a cold, almost imperceptible itch. And today, Lord, I saw something. I was walking down the street, an automaton in the crowd. and I saw a child fall. A simple tumble, a scraped knee, and the child cried. A loud, scandalous cry, full of pain and indignation. Its mother ran, hugged it, kissed the wounded knee, and in a few minutes, the crying turned into a sob and then a fragile smile. And I stopped. I stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and just stared at that banal scene, and something moved in me, an echo, a fossilized memory. I remembered, as one remembers a dream, what it was like to feel pain and be comforted. And from that small crack in the wall of my void, other memories began to leak out. And my prayer today, my God, is a journey to a museum of lost feelings. I want to walk through these rooms with you and show you what I have lost. Come with me, Lord, to this first room, the room of joy. Look, there is a memory of me laughing until my stomach hurt, with tears streaming down my face, unable to breathe. I don't remember the joke, but I remember that convulsion of happiness, a feeling that bubbled up from my chest and took over my whole body, a golden energy that seemed capable of healing any ailment. What was that? My God, what kind of spell was that? Today, I see comedy, I understand the joke, and my lips curve into a polite smile, but my chest remains mute. The sound of my own laughter has become a foreign language. Now, let's enter this other, darker room, the room of sadness. I know it sounds strange, but I even miss it. Look at that memory there, in the corner. I am crying the loss of someone I loved. The tears are warm, salty, real. Each one is a tribute. Every sob is proof of the magnitude of the love that existed. The pain is a sharp knife, yes, but it is clean, it is honest. It connects me to my own humanity, to my capacity to love deeply. What I have now honors nothing, celebrates nothing. It is just absence. I would trade this void for that purifying pain in a heartbeat, at least in it. I was alive. Alive and broken, but alive. And here, in this other gallery, is passion, anger, enthusiasm. Do you remember, Lord, when I fought for a cause? When my blood boiled with injustice? When a new idea would seize me and keep me awake at night? Planning, dreaming, creating. Where is that fire? Now the world's injustices are just news headlines. Ideas are just thoughts that float by and are gone. My passion has been replaced by a cost-benefit analysis. Is it worth the effort? And the answer is always no. Nothing is worth the effort. Walking through this museum of my former self is torture. Lord, a torture I asked you for. Because, in revisiting these memories, something happens. The void ceases to be just a passive state and becomes a thief who crept into my house and stole all my most precious belongings, leaving only the bare walls. And now, seeing what was stolen, the numbness begins to transform into something new. A pain, but not the clean pain of sadness. A dirty pain. The pain of the absence of pain itself. The pain of knowing I am less than I was. The pain of being exiled from myself. And this new pain, this first real feeling in so long, gives me the energy for a new prayer. A prayer that is no longer an apathetic whisper, but a plea, a groan from one who is beginning to awaken. Lord, I don't want this nothingness anymore. I refuse this void. I do not accept it as my final state. I want my life back. I'm not asking for happiness. It's too soon, too much to ask. I'm asking for the tools to build happiness. I'm asking for my feelings back. Give me back the ability to cry. Give me back the ability to laugh. Give me back the ability to care enough to get angry. Give me back the palette of colors so I can paint my days again, even if with the dark shades of melancholy. I would prefer a somber painting to a blank canvas. Can you do that? Can you, who gave sight to the blind, restore inner sight to my soul? Can you, who healed the leper, heal this leprosy of the soul that has left me numb to the touch of life? My prayer now has a focus, a desire, the desire to feel anything. Let a song give me goosebumps, let a story move me. Let the beauty of a sunset manage to pierce my armor of indifference and draw a tear from me. This desire, Lord, is the first crack in the ice, the first fissure in the desert floor. It is the proof that, somewhere in the depths of this void, a seed exists, a dormant seed, frozen, almost dead, but it is there, and it longs for water, it longs for light. And I ask you now, creator of all gardens, water this seed, send the sun of your grace upon it. No matter how slow and painful the germination, I am ready to wait, because today, for the first time in a long time, I want to live again, and the desire to feel. My God, this tiny seed that has sprouted in my desert now terrifies me, because I look at myself, at this hollow structure, at this abandoned house, and I realize it is not ready to receive life. What would happen if you, in your mercy, gave me back joy right now? It would echo off the empty walls and sound like madness. What if you gave me back pain? I no longer have the internal structures to process it. It would make me collapse completely. My old self, the house I once was, is condemned. There's no point in trying to redecorate the rooms or paint the walls. The foundation is compromised. To try to live again in this old structure would only be preparing the ground for a new collapse, perhaps a final one. And so, Lord, with my heart in my throat, with a fear that chills my bones but with a strange spark of lucidity, my prayer changes again. it becomes the most dangerous and most hopeful prayer a person can make. My God, do not fix me, do not patch me up. I ask you, with all the strength this new seed of desire gives me, finish the demolition job. If my life has become this void, it's because the structure that supported it was false. So, please, tear down the walls that are still standing. Break the pillars of pride that still stubbornly remain. Pulverize the last bricks of self-sufficiency. Take me to absolute zero. Take me back to dust. I don't want to be restored, Lord. I need to be recreated. I don't want a renovation. I need a rebirth. And for something new to be born, the old must die completely. And I feel there are still remnants of my old self clinging to me, like poisonous ivy. I give you my history, my name, my memories. I give you my few achievements, from which I still draw a shred of value. And I give you my many failures, which I still use to define myself. I place it all on the altar of your purifying fire. Burn it all, Lord. Burn my constructed identity, my defenses, my masks, my excuses. Untie the knot of my existence, thread by thread, until only the original raw material is left. The essence you created before the world and I corrupted it. I ask you to transform this void of abandonment into the void of creation. Let this nothingness resemble the nothingness that existed before you said, "Let there be light." And I want your first word of creation in my soul to be just that. Let there be light in my darkness so I can see myself as you see me. Let there be light in my confusion so I can begin to understand your purpose. I ask you to transform this void of a tomb into the void of a womb. I know that gestation happens in the dark, that the formation of a new life is a silent secret process, invisible to the eyes of the world. Let me rest in this sacred darkness, in this fertile nothingness. Let me be the seed that dies in the soil so it can bear fruit. I trust you, divine potter. I am formless clay in your hands. And if, to give me a new and more beautiful form, you must first crush me back into my shapeless mass, then I accept. I trust that your hands, even when they press, even when they break, are hands of love, hands that know what they are doing. I am afraid, Lord, I will not lie. I am afraid of disappearing. I am afraid that in this process of deconstruction, I will lose myself forever. I am afraid of the chaos, of the unknown. I am afraid that by abandoning the little that I am, I will become nothing. But beneath this fear, there is a faith that is not my own, but seems to be a gift you are giving me at this very moment. The faith that you are not a God of destruction, but of resurrection. The faith that you never unmake without the intention of remaking in a more glorious way. The faith that your silence is not absence, but the concentration of the artist before his canvas. So, my prayer culminates in the most radical act of surrender my soul can conceive. An act that goes against all my instincts of self-preservation. I open my hands, which were previously clenched in fists of desire, and I open them as a sign of total surrender. And I say to you the words that echo through the centuries. The words of absolute trust. Let it be done. Let it be done to me according to your will. I don't understand your ways. I don't see the final plan. I am afraid of the hammer and the chisel you will use to sculpt me, but I consent. I say yes, yes to the demolition, yes to the emptying, yes to the process. Empty me completely, Lord, so that nothing of me is left to impede your new beginning. May my ego be silenced so that your spirit can speak. May my will be broken so that your will can reign. I surrender myself to your creative nothingness. I surrender myself to your formative silence. I surrender myself to your love that breaks in order to heal. I am ready. I am empty. Please, my God, begin to create. And here I am, in the center of nothing. In the silence that follows, let it be done. The demolition is complete. There are no more echoes of my past. No anxieties about the future. There is only the now, a suspended now, dark, formless, and void. It is the most frightening and, at the same time, the most peaceful state I have ever known. The peace of the raw material awaiting its craftsman. The peace of the blank canvas trusting the painter. I am nothing, and by being nothing, I can be anything you want. My prayer now has no words, because I have given them to you. It is just an openness, an availability, a dark and empty womb that yearns for the seed of life. And I ask you, Creator of the universe, to begin your work, the same work you did at the beginning of time. Breathe over the dark waters of my soul, my God. Breathe your Holy Spirit, your Ruah, your breath of life, into this valley of dry bones I have become. Let your breath be my first breath. Let it fill this vacuum, not with things, but with your own life. Let it stir the dust particles that I am and begin to order them according to a new pattern, a new design. And then, Father, speak the word that is your own Son, the word that is light and life. Say over my darkness, let there be light. I do not ask for a midday sun that would blind me. I ask for the first ray of dawn, a trembling, gentle light that allows me to see not what I have become, but what you are beginning to do. Let this first light illuminate not the world outside, but my world inside. Let it allow me to see, for the first time, the beauty of your work in me, even in the midst of the chaos of reconstruction. Let me see your hand holding my heart in formation. Let me see your image and likeness being slowly restored from the ruins. As I remain in this stillness, something happens, a tremor, a vibration in the depths of my soul. And then, I feel a wetness in my eye, and a tear, a single tear, rolls down my face. And this tear, Lord, is different from all the others. It is not the tear of pain I longed for before. It is not the tear of sadness for my losses. It is a tear I cannot name. Is it made of gratitude, of awe, of relief? It is the tear of a newborn. It is the water breaking, announcing a new life. It is the proof that the void has been filled, the proof that the stone of my heart has been exchanged for a heart of flesh, the proof that I can feel again. And the first feeling of this new life is this overwhelming gratitude for you, my architect, my father. Thank you. The word, once hollow, now has weight, texture, truth. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for hearing my silence. Thank you for taking my request for demolition seriously. Thank you for this rebirth. And with this first feeling, a first desire is born. A desire that is not selfish. It is not a desire for success, or for comfort, or for human love. It is a simple, pure desire. The desire to know you, the desire to spend time with you, the desire to spend time with your heart. Plant in me, divine gardener, this seed, the seed of curiosity for you, the seed of hunger and thirst for your justice and your love. Don't give me a forest of theological knowledge yet. Just give me this small seed of a holy desire, and teach me to water it every day with my attention, with my intention. I don't know who I am now, Lord. My old name, my old definitions, have dissolved in your fire, and I feel like a nameless child, waiting to be baptized. And I feel you giving me a new name, a secret name, that only you and I know. A name that means beloved, recreated, found, and I accept it. This will be my new identity. I am the one whom you recreated from nothing. Slowly, I open my spiritual eyes, and the world, which was gray and mute, begins to have ... nuances. I notice the way the light hits the wall. I hear in the distance the melody of a bird. I feel the fabric of my clothes on my skin. They are small, fragile perceptions, but they are there. Meaning is returning not because the world has changed, but because you are changing the observer. You are rebirthing me from within. The journey is just beginning. I am a newborn. I need to learn to crawl, to walk, to speak in this new life. I will fall. I will be scared. I will sometimes miss the safety of the dark womb, but I am not alone. You, who gave birth to me, are also the Father who will teach me to walk. And I trust you. For the first time in a long time, I look to the future not with apathy, nor with fear, but with a holy curiosity. What will we do together, my God? What new life will we build on this cleared ground? I don't know, and that's the beauty of it. I no longer need to know, I only need to trust. Thank you for the gift of the void, which became the gift of fullness. Thank you for the gift of death, which became the gift of rebirth. Amen. If this prayer lit a light in your soul, subscribe so we can continue this journey of faith together. Leave your like so that this message may find other hearts seeking comfort, and share it with someone who needs to hear these words, turning your listening into an act of